Everyone knows Brutus as the man who stabbed Caesar, the loyal friend turned traitor, the symbol of betrayal. But what if the real mastermind wasn't Brutus at all? What if the true architect of Caesar's downfall was a man Rome barely remembers, a political genius hiding behind the curtain, quietly pulling every string, turning senators into weapons, and even turning Brutus himself into a tool? A man Caesar once looked at and warned, "Such men are dangerous." His name was Cassius. Rome was changing, and Cassius felt it in his bones. Caesar wasn't just popular, he was becoming untouchable. Crowds cheered him like a king. Every new honor pushed the Republic closer to monarchy. And no one hated that more than Gaius Cassius Longinus. He wasn't just another senator. He was a hardened soldier, one of the few survivors of Crassus's disaster at Carrhae. A man who believed he earned his place in Rome through grit, not fame. But the more Caesar rose, the smaller Cassius felt. What burned him wasn't politics, it was humiliation. It was watching a man he once served eclipse every member of Rome's old elite. Cassius wasn't emotional. He was strategic. He believed Caesar had crossed the line, and if Rome's leaders were too scared to act, then he would force their hand. Cassius knew he couldn't kill Caesar alone. He needed legitimacy. And that meant Brutus. Brutus had the ancestral glory, the moral reputation, the kind of name that could turn murder into patriotism. But there was something far more dangerous beneath the surface. Brutus wasn't just another senator to Caesar. He had fought against Caesar in the Civil War, and Caesar forgave him. He promoted him, protected him, trusted him, even loved him like the son he never had, and the connection went deeper. Caesar's longtime mistress, Servilia, was Brutus's own mother. Rome whispered about it constantly. Everyone knew Caesar cared for Brutus more than almost anyone alive. And that made Brutus the last person Caesar ever imagined would betray him. But Brutus was torn. He loved Caesar, but he loved the Republic more. His entire family legacy demanded it. His ancestor, Lucius Junius Brutus, had driven out Rome's last king. Every Roman knew the story. Brutus grew up being told that his bloodline was the line that defended Rome from tyranny. So when Caesar's honors piled up, when crowds cheered him like a king, when rumors spread that he might take a crown, Brutus felt the pressure of 1,000 years of Roman hatred toward monarchy. Cassius didn't create this conflict. He simply weaponized it. He played on Brutus's pride, reminding him of his ancestor who saved Rome. He planted doubts about Caesar's rising power. He made Brutus feel like he wasn't betraying a friend, but fulfilling a duty. And when persuasion wasn't enough, Cassius forged letters from the Roman people, begging Brutus to save the Republic. That was the breaking point. Brutus didn't choose murder out of jealousy or hatred. He convinced himself it was honor. He believed Caesar would destroy the Republic, and that history demanded he act. And the moment Brutus agreed, everything changed. Senators crept out of the shadows, men with grudges, men afraid of Caesar, men hungry for influence. Suddenly, Cassius wasn't leading a partner. He was leading a crowd. Managing them became a battle of its own. Egos clashed, doubts spread. Every man needed to believe the others were committed. Tension peaked when they debated killing Mark Antony too. Cassius pushed for it. Antony was loyal, dangerous, unpredictable. But Brutus refused, insisting the act remain pure, symbolic, noble. Cassius knew it was a mistake, but with Brutus now the moral face of the plot, he had no choice but to follow his lead. He had built the conspiracy, and in doing so created something he could no longer fully control. The Senate wasn't meeting in its usual building that day. It had been moved to a cramped chamber inside Pompey's theater, a place Caesar didn't control. That was the first trap. The second came when Mark Antony, Caesar's strongest defender, was stalled outside by conspirators pretending to greet him. Inside, Caesar walked into a room filled almost entirely with men who feared him or despised him. He took his seat. Then the circle formed. One senator stepped forward with a petition. Caesar waved him away. Another moved in from the side, then another from behind. Suddenly, he was boxed in. The first dagger struck. Caesar tried to rise, but 20 men surged at once. Caesar fought back at first, twisting away trying to stand. Then he saw Brutus, the one man he trusted. the one name that should never have been in that circle. And in that instant, the fight left him. The conspirators thought they had saved the Republic. Cassius already knew they had unleashed something far worse. Rome didn't rally behind the conspirators. It recoiled from them. No cheers, no celebration, just fear. Cassius and Brutus understood immediately. Rome wouldn't support them inside the city, not while Antony controlled the crowds and Caesar's death was still fresh. So they left Rome, not to hide, but to gather the Republic's real strength. The soldiers, governors, and loyalists scattered across the eastern provinces. For a moment it worked. Cassius and Brutus built a massive force. The Republic rose for one last stand. But Antony and Caesar's 18-year-old heir, Octavian, moved faster. They united their armies, crossed the sea, and met the conspirators at Philippi. The battle was chaos, dust, smoke, broken signals. Cassius, blinded and misinformed, believed his troops were wiped out, believed Brutus had fallen, so he made his final decision. He took his own life. Brutus held on for a few more weeks, but when his lines finally broke, he chose the same fate. The last defenders of the Republic died by their own swords. Almost every other conspirator was hunted down. The Republic they tried to save died with them, and in the void they created, one man rose above everyone else. Gaius Octavius, the young heir who became Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. Cassius feared Rome would one day accept a king, but by killing Caesar, he didn't prevent that future. He made it inevitable.